Registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners LLC does not provide tax or legal advice.
And legal
tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation.
Sorry about that. Legal Beagle means it's time to double check and see what's going on your money and Wall Street today. On the telephone with us, Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring. I got no better term for yesterday, Philip, than it was just poopy, wasn't it?
It was definitely not a good day, Dave. One little thing, and it went to the crapper for sure. A lot of red ink yesterday to close out the day.
Now, we got a little bit of a boost the day before when they announced that the Treasury Department was going to double its buyback of our own bonds, and I kind of wonder if the number finally got to them as much as anything. Do you remember when $1 billion really was really serious money? I mean, they announced they're going to increase the number of bonds that they're buying back in the open market by $2 billion, and then you look at the notion of a federal debt at $40 trillion, and you kind of say, can I borrow your eyedropper for a minute? My nose itches.
Yeah. It's not much in the whole scheme of things, is it?
It kind of hit me that way. The market did not express any happiness at all yesterday. Dow ended up down 704 points. Standard & Poor's down by 67. NASDAQ lost 264 points. That was a full percent. The small stock Russell down 1.3%. You could almost tell it was interest-based because, the more interest-sensitive the stock, well, the bigger it went down yesterday. The blue chips with their gobs of money, and NASDAQ and Russell that tend to specialize in growth stocks. It was just generally not a good day on Wall Street. About the only big gain was, holy crud, Bitcoin is back all of a sudden. It's having the best week it's had in over a year.
About time. It's lagged behind quite a bit. But definitely a good day yesterday and this morning. I mean, it's up to $77,400, and it hadn't been over the mid 60s in a long time.
Absolutely. It was an overall bloodbath yesterday. I always look at the chart I've got of the mega cap stocks, the glamour tech stocks. NVIDIA lost 0.33%. Apple down by 1.8%. Amazon lost over 2% yesterday. SpaceX down 4.1%. The glamour stocks just absolutely hit the crapper yesterday afternoon. I didn't check the gainers versus losers number, but when you start losing 704 points on the Dow, I'm kind of guessing that the losers kind of outnumbered gainers by about 10-1, something like that, right?
It does definitely look that way, Dave. I mean, I'm looking at Walmart, Dave. Walmart down 9.3% yesterday. It closed yesterday at 103.59. They said it's the worst day Walmart's had in 4 years.
Overall, I mean, Walmart gives a crummy report that we had yesterday morning, and we just get the upset over the bond situation. And I noticed this morning, looking at the 10-year bonds, they are off by a little bit from yesterday, but we're still looking at like a 4.7% 10-year yield. You watch the 30s more carefully than I do. I got to assume it had almost no retrenchment as well, right?
Exactly. I mean, very, very, minute.
Absolutely. Three things on the agenda that might be turning our mood a little bit this morning, as the mood has obviously changed. Number one, they say that we are within inches, micrometer minutes of a trade deal with Canada again, settling our tiff with Canada, being a very, very large trading partner, and by and large the biggest in the batch, especially for the northern tier. That's good news. Settlement, peace in the valley. Vice President Vance yesterday basically stated administration policy has changed. We are not threatening to throw bombs at Iran. Our strategy for the midterm is going to be economic pressure, and that settles things down a little bit anyway as far as risks of a shooting war going on. And you said that Treasury Secretary Bessent had some halfway decent soothing words for the markets as well for the bond market, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was trying to soothe it down a little bit. I mean, after he stepped in it the day before. So, yeah, not sure how much it really plays into the whole situation, but I think more and more people realize, like you said earlier, that 2 billion was a drop in the bucket to try to fix things. So, not much help in the bond market there.
I was going to say we buy $2 billion worth more bonds back, retiring some federal debt. We spend $5 billion on the same day and run them back up again. I'm not at all sure that we did any good whatsoever with that, but okay. Gossip and excitement. Anthropic could possibly file its IPO paperwork as soon as this month. I was reading last week on one of my tip sheets that they honestly think Anthropic, one of the big AI companies, might just have a bigger IPO than SpaceX did. Who knows? The stock might actually stay above the IPO price, too.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the headline I see floating around too.
I'm getting into that mode of banging my head against a block wall, kind of like I did during the tech stock run up around the year 2000. When wait a minute, any of these guys ever going to make some money and show me how they can do it? One more bit of economic news. The United States is going to allow early sales of winter gasoline. I gather it's cheaper to refine, so in an effort to control our gas prices a little bit, we're going to be able to buy winter gasoline in the future. That's not necessarily a big change for Florida, but I gather it's going to make a difference in the northern tier.
Yeah, I mean, I never had to buy winter gasoline. Have you? Oh, well, you probably have, haven't you?
Oh, I did back in the olden days, but I never knew what it was. All I knew, run up the pump, fill my tank, and go forward. It is supposedly looser on the emission restrictions, so it's easier and cheaper to refine. So it might take another penny or two off the price of gas, and in your case, diesel, which I got to believe you'd probably welcome with open arms, wouldn't you?
Hey, the other thing, because crypto is getting such a big jump this week, you've got the likes of Robinhood, Coinbase, and Strategy, those three companies all heading up over 5% this morning.
Well, I'm glad somebody that isn't invested in the VIX is making money, because I was kind of looking at yesterday saying about the only people that made money were the ones invested in the VIX index, right?
Yeah, yesterday that would have been, yeah. Or those people that were selling short on something, they probably made some money.
And that too in the process. Few corporate reports are out there. Got a couple in that have household name value to them, including one that we're all excited about here. BJ's Wholesale Club reported. What are we getting in town, and how are they doing?
They did, and they did well, Dave. They beat on earnings. They came in at $1.36 versus $1.17. Revenue ahead of expectations as well. So they had a good quarter. I was trying to see, they did bump their guidance just a little bit. They're trading up about almost 2.3% this morning.
Glad somebody had some good news. We've got a couple of retailers that came in yesterday. Walmart was ahead of them. You got any other indications out there?
Only other one I have is a discounter, Ross. And Ross beat across the board. And they also issued third quarter guidance that would outperform what everybody expected it to be. And so that's helping them this morning. They're up 7.1%.
That's interesting. I'm starting to develop a little trend. Off-price is doing pretty well, not necessarily discount this earnings season. And I've heard more from the other companies, too, coming out. Off-price stores seem to be doing okay this quarter.
Yeah, I think, obviously the more inflation hits, the more everybody wants the best deal they can find.
Absolutely. They still like the name brands. They just want to buy it at off price. All of this and this excitement that we've had all week, we talk about we're going to buy back our bonds, and then all of a sudden the market gives it a profound yawn and sells the crud out of itself. It's awful doggone hard to figure out how to do things and keep my retirement on track. That takes a financial advisor to get that done. Give me some tips as far as how to shop for some financial advice.
Well, I think, it depends on where you are in your stage of life, right? If you're young trying to grow it, Sometimes you don't need help. You just need to start dumping it into mutual funds or ETFs and get to the point where you've got a decent portfolio. What does that mean? I would say once you get to $50,000, $100,000, then you get to a little bit more of a benefit of using a financial advisor that can really structure things to help you. Now, as you get closer to retirement, and you are starting to switch gears from growth to, hey, I need to start taking money out of this portfolio, that's where I think you really have to be careful because so many advisors are good at growing assets and growing your portfolio. It's a whole different game when you start taking money out on a regular basis. And so you want to make sure that you're working with somebody that is something that they deal with on a regular basis and that they're, for us, I mean, like 70, 80% of our clients, that's the boat they're in. They're in that distribution phase of their process. It's a different mindset. It's not about growing, it's about keeping, right? Your portfolios. And so just keep that in mind the older you get and the closer you get to retirement to keep those things in mind.
When you interview a financial advisor, in other words, you want to ask them to specialize in preservation or specialize in growth?
Yep, that's right. And how do they do it?
Understood.
What tools do they use?
Gotcha.
Because that becomes important.
Understood. Let's reset the table here this morning. It was a bloodbath, almost. That's almost an accurate description yesterday on Wall Street. 45 minutes before we opened this morning, it sounds to me like we got into some pretty good drugs. How are we doing?
Hey, we are bouncing back this morning, Dave. Obviously, we're not quite recovered 100%, but the Dow is up 0.7%. That's $365. S&P 500 is up a little over 0.5% or $41, and the Nasdaq 100 is up 0.75 or $211. The Russell 2000 is up between 8 and 9/10, $25. So everything's got some nice green ink behind it. Silver up almost 2% this morning, Dave. It's trying to get to 70 again. It's at $69.46 an ounce right now. Gold on a tear too this week as a whole. It's up 1.4% this morning. We're at $4,635 an ounce. And then crude oil is trying to catch everything else up too. It's up 0.33%, $87.10, Dave. It is getting too close to 90.
Way too close. And unfortunately, being able to say it's going to be long-term with the economic battle, I think it's probably going to keep going up, and I hate predicting that. Going across the pond, the Asian Rim market generally okay at the 6 a.m. close. Mainland Chinese index average out to about 0.5% increase over there. Europe is kind of breathing a sigh of relief that somebody in our government noticed that we have a bond problem. They're trading upward this morning. About halfway through the trading day in Europe, they're about 0.2% up on average for the average European index. Getting my retirement together and making that plan does take some eyes, and I'm in that preservation phase instead of the growth phase because of my stage of life. How do I get a hold of you to be able to get your beady eye on things?
David, give us a call at 382-0037. We'd love to spend some time with them to make sure that they've got things allocated properly for the stage of life they're in right now. And then catch the Statler Financial Radio Show this weekend, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM.
Alrighty, and you and me again next week. I do appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend, sir.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Philip Statler.
Hey, folks. Again, I want to thank you for joining us this week. Hope you are doing well. Enjoy your weekend and join us again next week. Until then, have a great day. Bye now.